Hello and welcome to Women in the Coaching Arena podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Lott, a business mentor and ICF accredited coach, and I help coaches to build brilliant businesses. I know that when you prepare to enter the arena, there is fear, self-doubt, comparison, anxiety, uncertainty. You can tend to armor up and protect yourself from vulnerability. In this podcast, I'll be sharing honest, not hype, practical and emotional tools to support you to make the difference that you're here for. Dare greatly, you belong in this arena. Hello, welcome to episode 105 of Women in the Coaching Arena. I am so glad you are here. Today's episode has been inspired by a new client I had start last week, and we had our first call and she shared her story with me because at the beginning of our program, we have a small group call where we share our personal story in a really deep, different way, because it's a great way of getting to know people on a deeper level really quickly. But it's also a brilliant personal branding exercise because I find the best, most successful businesses have really utilized everything in their life to date to create that business. So I heard her story week 1. Week 2, she shared her niche message, and I don't know why, but it was just so unexpected. It was fine, but for some reason, I just wasn't expecting it. So my heart sunk, and she described that she had had this niche for 6 months, but she was stalling because something didn't feel quite right, which is why she joined my program. So I'm really excited to be meeting her this afternoon. I sent her some ideas last night based on her story and how we can weave that in to make her business and her absolutely fired up to go share that. Because also, if you think it's a bit boring and if it's somehow not aligning, then you won't be out there sharing with all of your enthusiasm. So that is the inspiration for today's podcast, and I'm excited to talk about this topic that could be the key to unlocking that success in an ever-growing market. I had another great call yesterday because I've been sharing lots of information on LinkedIn about the growing coaching market, and I had a call with someone saying, but it doesn't seem to be my reality, and I really do hear her. If you think about Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, it suggests that 80% of efforts come from 20% of causes. And in a business, that is super, super true. And I would go even further than 20%. I would say the top 10% of coaches out there are seizing most of the work. And that doesn't mean top as in the most qualified coach, because as we know as marketeers, if you didn't know you're a marketeer, you are now. It's actually the person who has the strongest brand, the strongest marketing skills, the strongest sales skills, who will secure those deals. This is proven by reports that say the vast majority of entrepreneurs don't access any bank loans or venture capital at the time of a startup. Generally, most people try and do it with nothing, which is completely fine, but it is that critical factor of how quickly you can move. So the importance of being that key person of influence in your industry is required in order for you to build your business. So let's get you being a key person of influence today. Let's start with this. People don't buy coaching, they buy connection with you and the outcome that they want. Your ideal client isn't just looking for another coach, they are searching for someone who absolutely gets them. Someone usually who has walked a similar path, overcome similar struggles, or achieve what they want to achieve. And that is where your story becomes your most powerful marketing tool. So take a moment to think now, why are you a coach? And what led you here? There's usually a reason that you are passionate about what you do, and that reason is what makes you different. It is your edge. And like I've mentioned, in a world where coaching is becoming more competitive by the day because people are seeing the impact of creating an online business, having that edge isn't useful, it's essential. If you are fairly early in your journey, you might not realize this yet. I had a discovery call with someone last week who was too early in their coaching journey, probably, to work with me because she thought that she is going to be at six figures in 6 months. And anyone who's been around a little bit longer than that will know that there is a lot to build, especially when you first start your business. So therefore, it's kind of unusual to gain that sort of income that quickly. Yes, it's possible. And I assured her it's possible. But mostly, if you are being realistic, which is a really boring word, I appreciate, and I do think you should reach for the stars. But I never want to sell someone the dream that they are going to be earning six figures in 6 months because, yes, I've had people do it. I'd say 1% of people do that. That is like the shot in the dark, the person who goes viral or manages to cut in, usually with their edge, which is why we're talking about this today, with something super different and super connected, perhaps from a previous life. But mostly that isn't the case. And mostly you're going to have to put the work in when you start your business with no return at all for a period until it starts to pay off. So let's cover market sophistication now, which is what I'm talking about here. So we have moved beyond the hello market phase where coaching was new, exciting. People wanted to understand what it was. We're not even in the next phase, which is the what is it phase anymore, where clients simply compare different coaching services. We are in the final phase of market sophistication, which is fierce competition. The market has lots of coaches, and if you want to stand out, you need to move beyond that generic messaging and start showing why you are the right person to help your specific audience. So if you think about the first car that existed, we would have been grateful that we had a car. Now the car needs to have heated seats. It needs to have all of these extra features to make you want it. You are not going to just grab that old Ford Fiesta anymore. You want to know why this new car is safer, quicker, shinier, warmer, all of the things. And it's the same with our industry right now. We need to keep up with innovation, demand, what the market really wants. And that is why I do this work, because not many people are talking about how you can actually do this. The conversation I had yesterday was super interesting also because she has big names in the coaching space, the names of the people who write the books on coaching. You will know them. And she went to a conference where they were all speaking. And she said it was really stand out, really, that none of them have ever actually sold coaching. So therefore, it's made me realize that I need to step up and start speaking in bigger circles, because it's all very well creating something, but if we're creating something that doesn't match the market needs, then it's kind of worrying for everyone who is investing in so of this additional coaching skills without also understanding, okay, we've got these amazing skills. Now, how can we match that with the market demand? So let's help you uncover your edge now. The River of Life exercise is something I read in Susan Payton's book, which is called The Business of Stories. It maps out key moments that shaped who you are and why you do this work. So I would recommend getting a piece of paper if you are at home, or just reflecting now on the hard lessons you have learned along the way. A great way I do this inside my program is I divide up their life into really small chapters. So from 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, and really start to think, what were the most important periods of that time for you? And what did you learn? What setbacks forced you to grow? What people guided or blocked you? There is a lot of fuel from people who got in your way as well. So sometimes things aren't a negative, you can turn them into a positive. And what pivots led you to where you are today? These are the moments that will shape your philosophy as a coach, and they are what makes you unique in this marketplace. So take the time to do this exercise properly. You will start to see patterns emerge, key themes, insights, just like I did for my client last night when I reflected on her story and all of her qualifications and all of her background. So, for example, she had founded a company, she had a master's in psychology, but all of that was kind of forgotten in this launch of her new business. So that is why I really love to think about how can we make that your absolute superpower. So let's move on to using your story in marketing. So once you have your key pivotal moments that led you to where you are now, think about sharing it on your website about page or bio if you're using LinkedIn, for example. Instead of just listing your credentials, also share your journey. Ensure that you have an About Me page on your website. I'm always devastated when I see people's pages without an About Me, because that's all I want to know. I want to know their story. I want to know if they can definitely help me. Your social media content is another place to share stories and create that connection. So instead of only producing generic tips posts, and I'm not saying they aren't useful, but I am saying also weave in those personal experiences that highlight your expertise in action. I did a great call last night on hooks for social media. So a hook, if you don't know already, is the first line or two, as well as the image, essentially anything you can see which helps them to stop and hit see more in your feed. And there are loads of variations of hooks, but one of them is starting with your credibility straight off. So for example, after 20 years in senior management at Google, here's what I learned, or something that immediately gets across, here's why you should listen to me. So think about how you can put a hook-based post out there today. One of my favorite marketing thought leaders, Seth Godin, says, you definitely, certainly, and surely don't have time and money to build a brand for everyone. You can't, don't try, be specific, be very specific. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. The more specific you are about your story, the more clearly you can stand out in that busy marketplace. I have so many clients when they first start working with me want to launch several businesses at the same time, despite the fact they've never launched one business yet. And I'm like, whoa, I'm exhausted running one business with one program. How do you intend to do this? Because every single niche is going to take a new marketing strategy. Every single offer is going to take a new marketing strategy. So, for example, even me trying to squeeze in selling my online course, which is called Signature Solution, it's on sale now until Sunday at 30% off if you haven't had the pre-roll. But that's actually been really hard to find a 5-day window where I'm not already promoting something else in my life. And bear in mind, I sell one thing to one person the majority of the time. So yes, do what you like, but know that it's going to be really hard. So if you haven't got much time and if you haven't got much money, then how are you intending to do this? So listen in again. I will repeat it. Seth Godin says, you definitely, certainly, and surely don't have time and money to build a brand for everyone. You can't, don't try, be specific, be very specific. Okay, so I think I've gone off on a lot of tangents in this episode. So here's what I would love you to do next. Take 15 minutes today to do that river of life exercise. You can draw a river from the top of your piece of paper to the bottom and really think about your life in those early stages, maybe from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, obviously depending on how old you are. Keep going. Think about those key things that stand out. What drove you? What experiences really shaped you? And start thinking about how you can weave those themes into your content, website, and marketing. This is Branding 101 and how we can make you unique. And in a future episode, I will cover AI and how you can use it to refine and scale your business without losing that personal touch. It's another area I've been going big on lately. and there is a lot of worry in the marketplace. But I shared on this call yesterday that you can be concerned, but if you aren't using AI to market your business, you will be left behind because you just can't move fast enough. You can't produce quick enough. You can't produce the volume required compared to people who are leaning into AI. So I hope that was helpful. If you want to up your marketing game, think about a diamond and how we build in hundreds of edges into your business so you build that cohesive brand that people think, this is why she stands out. Then this is what I do inside my program, The Business of Coaching. You will find the link and all of the details in the show notes. Feel free to drop me a message on joanna@joannalottcoaching.com if you have any specific questions, and I will get back to you on how I can best serve you. Like I say at the end of every episode, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalottcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lott with 2 T's, joannalottcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend, and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly, and try.